viewing pleasure. All right, let's get rolling here.
It's 3:32, was the meeting posted?
Sure, for 3.
Thank you. And thank you all, I apologize.
Commission will now take up matters to do with applications for public amusement licenses for events scheduled to be held at the Lowell Memorial Auditorium, 50 East Merrimack Street. Thomas McKay, Mill City Management, Inc. is the applicant licensee for concert, Casting Crowns Concert. It's Thursday, March 15th, from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. The New Sound Concert is the promoter. Phil Vassar Concert for Thursday, March 22nd, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Mill City Management is promoter. Real Oldies Live, scheduled for Friday, March 23rd, from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Mill City Management promoter. The show Spamalot for Wednesday, March 28th, from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Mill City Management promoter. Concert Get the Lead Out for Friday, April 6th, from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Mill City Management promoter. And last is a boxing event promoted by the CFC Promotion, Bob McCready Boxing, Saturday, April 7th, from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m.
Boxing event, please.
I'm sorry. Could you just, for the record, state your name?
Katrina Garabanian, Lowell Auditorium.
Okay. And you said you're withdrawing the boxing event for April 7th?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second. All in favor?
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank
All right.
you.
Commission will now take up applications for special one-day licenses for malt beverages and wine only, or either one. First applicant is Joseph Bew of the Heinz Tavern for event at the parking lot of Heinz's Tavern at 465-467 Gorham Street. It's the Heinz Road Race for Sunday, March 11th, from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Michael LaChance of the Merrimack Repertory Theater for premises at 132 Warren Street. A wine tasting and fundraiser to benefit the Merrimack Repertory Theater for Tuesday, March 13th, from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Sean Seros of the Lowell Firefighters Association, a fenced-enclosed area outside the club at 362-364 Fletcher Street. The Lowell Firefighters Road Race, that'll be Sunday, April 22nd, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Richard Barrett of Kilkenny Pub for a tent-enclosed area, the parking lot adjacent to Kilkenny Pub at 660 Roger Street. That's the St. Patrick's Day, Saturday, March 17th, from 4 p.m. to 12 midnight. Corey Belanger of CB Enterprises for an enclosed tent in front of 34 Jackson Street at St. Patrick's Day celebration for Saturday, March 17th. And that should be 4 p.m. to 12 midnight, not 6 p.m.
All right, for the record, could you please step up to the microphone and introduce yourself?
Joe Buell, Heinz Tavern.
Michael LaChance, Merrimack Repertory Theater.
Corey Belanger, Major's Pub.
Richard Barrett, Kilkenny Pub.
And for the record, Mr. Sawyer
And
was...
Sean Soros from the Lowell Firefighters Association was here, and he was, he had somewhere to be. So he's run this event in the past.
Okay. Any problems, any questions?
No, the only thing I have to say is Kilkenny Pub, it's a Saturday this year, so I'm sure your crowd will be bigger than usual, even though it's usually pretty big. So you're going to have a police officer there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because the people crossing the street is the main issue. And also, I know the other businesses in that plaza next to you with the park, not allowing parking in there. And I know you've handled it before and we haven't had any problems, but just to make that. Other than that, I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second. Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Good luck.
And thanks for the Kilkenny Pub hosting the fundraiser last night.
Gentlemen, for those that have amplification permit applications, special events permit for amplified outdoor public entertainment. Joseph Bew of the Ocean Bridge Corporation for Sunday, March 11th, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., the parking lot of Heinz's Tavern. This is for recorded music and a loud speaker system with sound equipment. Richard Barrett of Kilkenny Pub, a sound system for a band disc jockey for St. Patrick's Day, 4 p.m. to 12 midnight. Corey Belanger of Major's Pub, a sound system for a band disc jockey for St. Patrick's Day, Saturday, March 17th, 4 p.m. to 12 midnight. And also Kyle Swartz, representing Global Spectrum, the Songer Center for sound system for live and recorded music, the Dropkick Murphys Block Party for Saturday, March 17th, from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. That'll be the north and west sides of the Songer Center at 300 Martin Luther King Jr. Way.
Okay, and for the record, please introduce yourselves again.
Corey Belanger, Major's Pub.
Joe Buell, Heinz Tavern.
Richard Barrett, Kilkenny Pub.
Kyle Swartz, Songer Center.
All right, and the times don't look unreasonable, and I think, as was pointed out, these are Saturdays, well, you're a Sunday, but you're pretty early hours. St. Patrick's Day, you know, it's Saturday, it's midnight. Again, just be considerate of your neighbors. I think you got some that are reasonably close, although I think you're your closest neighbor, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay, so,
I just had a question for Kyle. On the block party, the way the liquor license reads for the Songus Arena is on the north side, you can serve alcohol, but not on the west side?
Not on the west side?
Right.
Okay.
But the block party says it's gonna be north and west side, so how are you gonna not serve alcohol on the west side? Is there gonna be someone that divides up the property, or some sort of barrier, some sort of check?
Do the barrier.
Okay, but just, I want you to look at your license,
Okay.
and it does not include the west side, so you should only be serving alcohol on the north side, am I correct by
Right,
that?
but I don't know if Mr. Swartz has, you involved with the alcohol licensing for the?
No, that's Aramark.
So Riverhawks Inc. holds the license for the center.
Yep.
And Aramac is their vendor.
Yep.
So
don't-
I can contact the Mr. Perry, who is handles the Aramac vendor, to let me know.
Yeah, I don't want to shoot the messenger, but since you're here, if if it's gonna be in two separate areas,
Yep.
it should only be served on one area, and
Okay.
I'm sure you guys will do, you do a first-class job on everything you do, so I'm sure, but I just want to remind you of it, and the secretary will call Aramark and let them know. Okay. I'll make a motion to approve.
and seconded, all in favor, say yes?
Yes.
Yes. All right, good luck, gentlemen.
Okay. For the record, I'll just read it off. The next item, number 4, the public hearing on the application for alteration of premises by the Middle Street Village, Inc., doing business as Village Smokehouse, the all-alcoholic beverage restaurant licensee at 9298 Middle Street. Just for the record, Commissioner Occasion, Commissioner Weicker, communication this morning I received from the office of George C. Eliades Jr., who represents the Middle Street Village, Inc., and by requesting that the commission continue the matter of the application pertaining to the Middle Street Village, Inc. on its alteration of premises, which specifically it has to do with setting up for a sidewalk seating area in front of the business. Attorney Eliades recognizes that he is legal counsel for Middle Street Village for another matter relating to the business of Village Smokehouse, and that he's asking that this matter of the hearing on this particular application be continued for the next regular meeting scheduled or proposed to be scheduled, which, in anticipation of the board's action this afternoon, would be March 22nd.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we continue the hearing relative to the alteration of premises. It's my understanding that the city council has already approved the outdoor seating, and now it's just whether the liquor license would be transferred outside? Is that,
Right.
It's my understanding, too, that was the case, and
they've
I
already
don't want to
entered into
comment
the-
any further on that,
okay.
but I understand there may be,
The sidewalk modifications were already approved.
you know, this, the issue with the city engineer's office as far as expanding the existing sidewalk to make it suitable for sidewalk seating. That's another story. and I'm
But the
not-
city council approved the outdoor seating, it's us to alter the premises to include the outdoor seating.
What it is that they authorized the city manager to enter into a contract
Right.
with the licensee.
Okay.
I believe that's how it is.
But I think where Mr. Eliades just got retained to represent the Middle Street Village, Inc., and they do have a hearing scheduled for March 22nd. I don't see why we can't handle all the matters at once, so I'll make
Yeah.
a motion to continue.
I'll second. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes. So, and we'll deal with the issue of the time here in a second.
Yes.
Actually, do you want to just bring that forward now so we can? Mr. Secretary, would it be possible to just bring forward the motion on the timing of the meetings, just so we could have that on the record? Yeah, we might as well do it now.
All right, just to fast forward for a few minutes, on the agenda, most of the agendas have it numbered. Number 11 on the back side of the agenda is a motion by Commissioner, on the agenda is a motion by Commissioner Brian Occasion, to schedule a meeting of the License Commission for Thursday, March 22nd, for 6:30 PM, to be held in the council chamber at the second floor of City Hall, 375 Merrimack Street.
I just want to bring a motion forward to have the hearing on March 22nd be held at 6:30 PM instead of our usual 3 PM. In addition, I anticipate that going forward, for an indefinite period of time, I'd like to meet at 6:30 PM instead of the 3 PM. I think, I'm not sure if it's the most appropriate time to meet for the license holders, but there seems to be a feeling among the residents that 6:30 PM would allow them to come and view the meetings in person. Although they may not be able to contribute, they'll be able to make their presence known by sitting in the gallery. So I'll make a motion that we,
Yeah, I'm
I just wanted maybe some public comment if wished to be.
okay.
going to second the motion on the grounds that, look, even today I was stuck in court, which is why we started a half hour late, and I do apologize to everybody. But there are some things that are beyond my control. So,
Do we need public comment, or should we?
yes.
Members of the Commission, a couple of people have approached me and sent emails in regards to comments that they'd like to share with the Commission and with the
Sure.
Board, and if anyone wishes to do so at this time, they may do so.
Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? In opposition? In opposition? Okay. The portion is closed.
Okay.
Is there anyone that wants to speak in favor? They want to speak in favor.
I mean, I'm ready to vote yes.
Okay.
So, motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes. All right, so if we could just let Attorney Elidas know that it'll be 6:30? Thanks.
I guess. Yes. Commission will now take up, on the first side of the page of the agenda is item number 5, public hearing on the application for malt beverage and wine only package store license by a corporation known as Test and Build, Inc., Sanjita Patel, President, for the premises at 1088 Gorham Street. This is required an application that would abutters to be notified, property owners touching, and any church, school, or hospital within 500 feet. The applicant has filed an affidavit to that effect with green return receipts and the white postal slips attached. Copy of the public notice. This is also allows for public comment.
Could you introduce yourself for the record?
Oh, sure. My name is Anil Patel. I'm from 1088 Gorham Street. I'm here to present the Test and Build Inc.
Okay,
And if
Sangeeta Patel?
okay, great,
Now, for the record, Sanjita is the only officer in the corporation.
okay. So Sanjita, you're the only officer in the corporation?
Yes.
Okay.
may, I
You
have a,
will be
sorry.
talking to another.
Yes, why don't you explain to us what your plan is?
Sure, if you may allow me to pass these 3 papers that I
Sure.
have.
Sure.
I would like to take an opportunity to thank you, Chairman, respected Chairman and committee members, allowing me a time to explain the request over here. The request I have is 1088 Gorham Street was used to be paper producing company, and that has been altered with some retail units. There are 5 retail units being added into this, as well as the 2 back unit is industrial unit. Now, part of the current operations at 1088 is there is a retail business in upfront, and we would like to utilize the space because of there is a little expansion in the space over there, and we would like to utilize and add the offering of beverage and wines package store kind of for the local public. And that is my request pretty much.
Have you had any experience in the sale of beer or wine?
We do not have any store, but we have worked in the past with another store operating behind the counter.
Okay, and where was that store?
One in Nashville, New Hampshire.
Okay. And are either of you TIPS trained?
No,
No, you haven't taken any courses as to the service of alcohol?
no.
No? Okay. And why are you seeking the beer and wine license?
I think we are looking into offering solutions that, because we are opening a grocery store, already being serving some grocery style of solution, and we already have a party store, so it goes along with the offering that we are trying to offer to the local public.
Okay. And is your establishment going to serve or make available any specialized beer or wine?
We are looking into specialized, but general offering, as well as we will add into some specialized too.
But just that most of it's going to be the general
General.
stuff. Okay. You want to open it up?
Yeah, let's open up this portion to the public. Is there anyone to speak in favor of the application? All right, seeing no one, that portion of the hearing is closed. Is there anyone to speak in opposition? In opposition? Ma'am, please come on up to the microphone. Sir, if you could step back and turn over the podium.
Good afternoon, sirs. My name is Susan Brown. I live on Stromquist Avenue, which is parallel with Gorham Street. I wrote the superintendent of schools to express my concern because I believe it's close to, if not within 500 feet of the Benjamin Butler School. And I haven't received a response from her. But in the area on Gorham Street, I'm sure most people are familiar, 1300 Gorham Street Liquors is approximately, I didn't map it out with a yardstick, is approximately 1,300 feet from the proposed liquor store. And then there's another liquor store at the Spaghettyville Bridge, which is approximately 800 feet north of the proposed liquor store. I'm hoping that this request will be denied, as having a third liquor store within walking distance of each other could bear further undesirable activities in the area. I don't believe there's a substantial need for another liquor store on Gorham Street. Additional traffic so close to the school could possibly increase the danger of vehicular and pedestrian accidents. And I want to thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to state my position on this.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else to speak in opposition? In opposition? In opposition? All right, seeing no one else, that portion of the hearing is closed. Sir, if you could return to the, ma'am, if you could return to the mic. Can you tell us, What's the difference between your store and the, on the map? We've got 3 stores within about 5 blocks of the radius. What's the difference going to be?
The difference is basically there are offering, specialized offering for beer and wine and liquor close to it, but the offering we are doing is not only trying to do beer wine. We just limited portion of the beer wine we're trying to offer to the public that comes from grocery, and as a part of the solution, we are basically providing as a complete package for solving. And we have made a very good improvements at these locations, and we are at the verge right now to get some revenue and offering the solution to the public pretty much. We have a lot of community and also the school, the families, parents goes to the school, come by to us and thanks us a lot for whatever the improvements we have made to that particular property. Now we are trying to basically get a return on investment, and at this stage we have to do something to basically break even to get there.
How long have you been running the grocery store there?
We just starting basically a grocery store, and we're trying to add another solution because we in the process of getting the business license and everything. So we have existing other retail that is for party supply that we are already offering at that location.
I guess my concern with the proposal, you have made improvements to the store. It's the facility looks great, but the issue is, one of the things that we have to balance is the public need for the service of beer and wine, and Ornelas package store is approximately 700 feet from your building. 1,300 Liquors is 2,000 feet, and then there's actually a beer and wine license at the Triangle on Gorham Street, right about 1,400 Gorham Street. So
Gulf Station?
Gulf
Sunoco
Station,
One
whatever,
of
the
two,
gas
yeah.
station there, right on the Triangle. So, within a 3,000 feet one way, there's 2 establishments that sell beer and wine, and the other way there's 700. And that's why I asked you the question, if you were gonna do anything that was specialized, because I thought, maybe you were gonna provide a special service to a certain ethnicity or, a segment of the population, but from your answer, it doesn't appear that way.
I mean-
So, from my hearing, and from my perspective, I don't think that you've demonstrated there's a public need, so my inclination would be to vote no on the application.
I'm going to tell you, I kind of agree in some way that we have a finite number of licenses that are available, and this is not a high-density population area, given that everything on the other side of the street is cemetery. There are currently 3 package stores. I think 2 are full, all alcohol. 1 is a beer and wine. I think that adequately serves the need, and not too far after that, we're hitting Chelmsford line. So it's not a very heavily populated area until you go further up north. My concern is that we have, how many beer and wines do we have out now? 17 or 18?
I'm sorry.
Do we have 17 or 18 of the beer and wine only?
At the moment, as far as issuance of licenses, we have issued 17.
Okay.
There's 1 that has not been issued that may need to be acted upon soon by the License Commission as far as.
Okay. And that's my concern, is that this is an area where there are other areas of the city that are being built up. There are other areas that have a much higher population density. So
There is, just for the record, there's a maximum allowed, but it's 22. We have, right at the present time, we have 22 all-alcoholic package stores, which is the maximum for the city of Lowell. And the city may grant as many as 22 for beer and wine only. So at present, there are 17 licensees. So that, so.
right.
May I, if you don't mind, may I suggest one thing? I agree with there is 3 licenses in the premises, pretty much in that areas, but Route 3A is basically a corridor to going into the Lowell, and there is a 20,000 to about 20,000 approximately traffic passing by there. parking situations that one of the family members basically raised, like a traffic patterns over there. There's already a 27, parkings is approved by the zoning and planning at that locations. Establishment that I'm trying to put together is, I'm hoping that city understand that I put them upfront money into investment into the city, as well as improving the locations over there. And now I'm trying to generate the revenue from these particular locations, and I have a lot of constraints in that. Now, as well as specializing the wine offering, we can certainly entertain this specializing into the whatever offering they're not competing with other store. We can go that route if you can allow us to do something, and we are willing to work with the city to do that. But at the same time, I will personally request as a small business owner to survive in this location and grow out of this location. Because as a small business owner, dreaming is one thing, but when really hit the road, we have to stand up and go with it. Now, it's already been a year and a half. We are paying full in tax, nothing been touched, nothing been complained or anything, and we're trying to grow out of this one. So I'm heartily requesting, see, whatever you can help me to survive at this location to move forward as a family member and as well as small business owner. That is my request to you.
I mean, I understand the intricacies of running a small business and how it's very difficult. But I also understand that, you know, there must be a demonstration of public need. I don't think you've met that burden. So my inclination would be to vote to not approve the license. So I'll make a motion to that effect.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say yes?
Yes.
Yes. I'm sorry, but the request for the license is denied.
Thank you.
I think it's just about, yeah.
Okay, the Commission will now open a hearing on the suspension of the malt beverage and wine restaurant license granted for 2012 to the limited liability company known as Lee & Lee, LLC, doing business as Grace Garden, Zen Wen Lee manager for premises at 101 Lakeview Avenue. The License Commission, for the record, was brought to the board's attention by the board secretary on February 2nd at a regular meeting of the commission that the circumstances of this particular business, Grace Garden at 101 Lakeview Avenue, certain business transaction had taken place, and that it was the board secretary's understanding that a new business owner would be taking over within days of the date of February 2nd, possibly as soon as the following week. Commission moved to take action to suspend that beer and wine license. Lowell Police Department, Lieutenant Frank Rowan was able to secure the license itself for the beer and wine for the Grace Garden. The License Commission Office has possession of that license. I believe there are representatives for both parties regarding this particular issue. Legal counsel for Grace Garden, as well as the legal counsel for the proposed new owner.
For the record, could you please introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Chris Coleman on behalf of Lee & Lee.
Okay.
And Kayla Pan is here also on behalf of the buyers.
Oh, can you explain to us what happened?
As briefly as I can, yes. I think there was a small misunderstanding as to when the application for the transfer of the license is going to take place. Ordinarily, I'm representing seller. People have various reasons why they're applying, why they're not applying, when they're applying. As buyer's counsel, a lot of times I'm okay closing after I get Board of Selectmen or Licensing Board approval. Sometimes I'll wait for ABCC. In other instances, there's been situations where people leaving the country or for whatever reason, there's some urgent matter that needs to be handled so that it needs to be closed maybe even before that. Just 2 months ago, I was at the Licensing Board in Boston. We were before them. We had to close on the restaurant before we got the CV and the beer and wine license. You know, wasn't crushing, but said, look, we know you can operate, but you know you can't operate without, you can't serve beer and wine until the license has been approved. Great, we've done that. I think the expedient way to handle this, and maybe the more proper way to do it, would have been to surrender the license and wait until they got their approval, and then they could have picked it up again. What we're asking to be done is if you can continue to hold the license until they have an opportunity to apply. Now, Secretary, when I had a conversation with you right after we received this letter, and I represented to you that there's going to be an application. You said, there's nothing before me right now. I said, you're going to have an application. And it was a little surprising to me that you still, to my understanding, don't have an application for this transfer. I can't explain that. I would think that might have been better coming in on the heels, but, you know, buyer's counsel will speak to that. There's obviously a good reason for it. There may have been a question whether he was going to do all alcohol or just beer and wine, or maybe on your advice saying, hey, don't do it. Wait till the result of the suspension was had. I would have applied. Different instructions may have been given, so I'll allow for that.
We
I
do
just
have
can't
in
explain
front of
it.
us a petition.
Oh, there is. Okay, great.
It was submitted about a few days after you spoke.
I guess the frustrating part is I'm not one, you know, I've made plenty of mistakes, but both Attorney Coleman and Attorney Pan have appeared in front of us before, and to have a transfer go through without us okaying it, I think was frustrating. That's why we suspended the license. If you're you're gonna formally surrender the license to us and have us hold it?
Correct.
Okay. I'll make a motion. Well,
Yeah, no, I agree. You know, and look, like I said, I can tell you that in the last year and a half, I think there was an issue that went in front of the ABCC where something similar happened, and they actually revoked the license, where they found out that a transfer had happened without having an approval. So, just cautionary, more than happy to work with you, but we just kind of need to be in the loop ahead of time. When we find out afterwards that a transfer has taken place, we have no choice but to grab the license because the party holding it doesn't have a license to serve or sell alcohol.
Well, the timing was certainly less than ideal. Our apologies.
all right, so I'll make a motion that we accept the surrender of the license.
Okay, and I'll second the motion. Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye, yes.
Yes. Okay, so we'll accept it, and I guess now we want to put it on for a hearing date?
Well, then the next,
So, as a follow-up to the matter, it just so happened after Attorney Coleman had just commented about conversation he and I had soon after the letter was sent out on the suspension of license. I had conversation with Attorney Caleb Pan. I met with Mr. Pan in the office as well as with his client, and subsequent to that conversation, an application has been filed on behalf of the Kevin Wong, who would be doing business as Foodie Goodie Asian Restaurant for premises at 101 Lakeview Avenue. Presently, they're requesting a license for common victular and application for the transfer of the beer and wine license from Lee and Lee. If the License Commission is so inclined, where the license beer and wine is presently in the possession of the office, Commission can, I feel, possibly feel free to move forward with Mr. Wong's application for common victular's license, possibly with the idea that scheduling a hearing on the actual transfer of that beer and wine license.
I'm inclined to agree. Caleb, why don't you step up?
Caleb Pan for Kevin Wong.
Yeah, my name's Kevin Wong.
Are you guys ready to open and serve food right now? Or,
We're waiting for the common victualers.
you have any-
Does common vitler require a public hearing?
No?
Common vitler?
The normal procedure on just a simple application for common vitler is the application itself, of course, but I would need to have health inspection, approval of the health department, having inspected the premises, in order to issue that license for common vitler.
Well, I'll say that, I'll make a motion that's subject to all the health inspections being completed, we go ahead and issue that.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor, say yes?
Yes.
All right, so as soon as you get
Then-
that squared away, you can bring that into Secretary Wynn and get the common vitler license.
And then I'll make a motion to schedule the public hearing on the transfer of the license, the alcohol license is the next meeting give us, well, you know what,
Next
why don't we
meeting's
go,
14
Well, I
days
could,
from now, so
if
we
I,
have enough
if
time.
I,
why
I
don't we
did
go
a
to the next
legal
one?
notice in the local newspaper for Monday's paper, it would give the minimum 10-day requirement. Otherwise, the hearing could be scheduled for a meeting at a later date, like possibly in April.
I'll make a motion to schedule for the next meeting.
Now, second, all in favor?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll put you on for the 22nd for the public hearing on the transfer of the all alcohol license. Get your inspections done to get the victualer's license issued, and you should be in good shape.
And that's 6:30 PM.
Yeah,
Thank you, Commissioners. May I submit the compliance report from the Lowell Board of Health?
So, the license will be all
Okay.
set.
Could he pick it up later today or
Not today, no.
tomorrow morning?
What I may do is, since I have proof that as the board can see, the proof that the health department had done an inspection, that inspection had taken place, interestingly, February 9th, 2012. I'm wondering if, had there been any changes in the premises after this inspection?
I don't believe so, no.
So that the health department might want to look at it a second time?
I don't think, because they really looked at it before, right?
We could give them a call, but we could go over there right now and find out whether or not they need to.
I mean, it does meet the standard of which, in order to issue licenses to a new business for common vitler by having the health inspection. Just curious that it comes on the heels of when we did this, you actually did the suspension last month. But if the board is satisfied.
You've had no alterations to the premises since in the last month?
No, none.
no changes to the kitchen, right?
No, nothing changed.
No.
Nothing
So I could
changed.
issue that
Not the
license.
kitchen, but were there changes?
It's the signage outside, I don't
Yeah,
know.
outside, just, change a few table, those.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah, you can issue the license.
All right, so tomorrow morning, you want
Thank
to
you.
stop by?
May I submit the fee today or tomorrow?
I'll take it.
Thank you.
We'll always take money today.
Sure.
Thank you, Commissioners. Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
Commission will now take up the next matter on the agenda, which is to do with an application for a secondhand motor vehicles license, used car dealer, Class 2. This application originally was filed by Gerald Pellaluca to do business as Route 38 Auto Sales. Since he last met with the board, which was in December of 2011, circumstances have changed somewhat, I think, for Mr. Pellaluca's betterment. That is to say that he's entered into a lease agreement. He's also he's filed an amendment to the application where he's incorporated so that the application would read Route 38 Auto Sales, Inc. Gerald Pellaluca is the president, and the application is for premises at 639 Roger Street. It's an open lot of 70 feet by 125 feet with an office trailer 12 feet by 40 feet. It allows for a maximum of 15 spaces, or 15 vehicles. We have record now that Mr. Palaluca has a lease agreement under the corporation, or through the corporation, with Richard B. Daggett, who holds the primary lease, and that Mr. Palaluca, through his corporation, would be a sublessee. How is that? That's sort of how it works?
Yeah. Introduce yourself for the record.
Gerald Pagluccia.
Have you, I know we've probably gone through this before, but have you been involved in the used car business?
Yes,
Okay. And for how long?
almost 2 years.
Okay. And where are you operating out of?
I have a dealer's license in Dracut on Broadway Road. I also have a dealer's license in Tewksbury, Alpha East Street.
Okay, great. I think that incorporating is a smart idea.
Thank you.
And the lease looks good to in my cursory review of it. I guess my only recommendation would be that Route 38 is a main thoroughfare in the city of Lowell, and it's right after you come in from Tewksbury. So just keep the property in good repair.
Absolutely.
And it's a prime location, so I wish you luck.
Well, thank you very much.
How many spots are authorized? How many cars are authorized on the lot?
How many cars?
are authorized?
I believe it's 15 is the maximum.
Okay. And I say that just, you know, your license is going to have the maximum number of cars listed on it. Please don't go over it. Again, it's very visible. You know, if you have
Understand.
off-site storage someplace, just please, you know,
Thank you.
don't make us look bad here.
Of
I'll
course
make a
not.
motion to approve.
I'll second. All in favor, say yes.
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 Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
You want to take a few minutes to look at that? Commissioner will take a little brief moment here. Is that? Okay. Commission now take up the matter to do with an application or applications for pawnbroker for old gold, silver, platinum, and secondhand articles. The license period is to expire April 30th, 2012. This is applications are filed on behalf of Empire Loan of Lowell, Inc., Mark Gundersheim is the treasurer, for premises at 55 Merrimack Street.
And for the record, please introduce yourself and your client.
Sure. Mark Gundersheim from Empire Loan, and my partner and president, Michael Goldstein.
Okay, great.
Could you just explain your business briefly?
Yeah, we're a pawn brokerage and a jewelry store. The main store has been in business for over 25 years, specializing in loans on predominantly gold and diamond jewelry, some electronics, and also gold buying.
And how many locations are you operating currently?
Currently 6
6. And how many within the Commonwealth of Massachusetts?
in Massachusetts.
There are 4 in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and 2 in Rhode Island.
Okay. So I'm confident that you're aware of the rules and regulations and statutes relative to this license.
Yes.
Okay. Have you been in contact with the Lowell Police Department yet?
Representing Empire.
Matthew Donahue here for the applicant. I had reached out to the police department. He wasn't available the day I went over there, but they're totally familiar with the process of notification, whether by fax or email, the identification of potential stolen products, those types of things. So we will take that step.
All right, yeah, that's my only suggestion would be to contact the Lowell Police because they do a wonderful job of making sure that you guys run a good business and you help them out and they'll help you out.
And we've got a representative right here.
So, who's going to run the Lowell store?
My general manager in Boston, Steve Duva, is going to run the store in Lowell. We're going to move him to Lowell. We're making some changes in our Boston location. Steve has been with Empire in Boston 17 years? 17 years. I'm a third-generation pawnbroker, so I've done this since I'm 12, but only on the weekends when I was that young. So Steve Duva will be managing.
Okay. Let me ask, have you had any problems in the past with any of the other locations?
Well, no, we haven't had problems. We work very closely with the local authorities, with Boston, Providence, we're in New Bedford, and Worcester. No, we haven't had problems to speak of. On occasion, it's very rare, someone will come in with something that doesn't belong to them. We take their identification, we take a picture of them, we fully describe the merchandise. Some of our locations, the information is transmitted electronically every day. Other locations, it's by mail. It really depends on the jurisdiction and what they require of us. No, on the interesting statistic, not that you're asking, but when it comes to stolen property, such a small amount comes in that doesn't belong to the person who pawned it, and these statistics are borne out by the redemption rate. Approximately 9 out of 10 people that borrow money from all of our Empire loans actually pay back the loan and get their merchandise back. Only about 10% lose it to foreclosure. But on the occasion that there is something that's stolen, it's a very pretty easy process. The police tell us they want us to put a hold on it. They bring a victim in. If it's identified as stolen, we put it aside. There's no questions asked. It's a really easy process. And having said that, I can assure you in any of our stores, if somebody comes in, if, for instance, I'll give an example. If a young person comes in with a very large diamond and says they want to know what this is, we always get identification, we call the local authorities, and we tell the consumer, we say, look, we don't feel comfortable when you come in with something that has this much value and you don't know what it is. You're welcome to stay here, but we've had to call the local police. They'd like to come down and talk to you. So that does, on very rare occasion, happen, and you know, we do things really above board.
I was going to say, I agree with you. I know that, look, we both work as attorneys, so I can tell you that my experience, it's stolen items have a tendency to find their way to flea markets as opposed to pawn shops.
Exactly.
There's no paper trail at flea markets.
Right.
So, but you're right. Sometimes stuff does come in. So, are we electronic transmittals? Do you know?
Some of them are, Commissioner. Some of them are brought in on a daily basis by the other pawn shops in the area. It lists with a color photo usually. I'm sure these gentlemen are aware of that process, of a color photo of the jewelry or items that have been pawned, along with the photo ID of the person that pawned it.
And are there any concerns from the police department?
Well, we do track a lot of our stolen jewelry and such items to some of the local pawn shops. Sometimes we do track the area pawn shops to see who's pawning as to the dollar amount and to the number of times that a particular person or persons have pawned. In the police department experience, it's not the person that has stolen the item that pawns it. They get someone else to bring it in that does not have a record. So, and I'm not disparaging the business per se. I'm just saying historically we have found some of our stolen items that have been reported stolen in this city traced back to the local pawn shops. But on the whole, the owners of the pawn shops are very cooperative with us. We have a good relationship historically. So we certainly want that to continue.
Well, look, obviously, you see our concern is we want to make sure you're working well with our police department on this because like, you're going to see some stuff come in.
Yeah.
Right. I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes. All right.
Good luck,
Thank you
guys.
very much. Thank you.
Hey, anything that gets a storefront downtown, that is professional.
Well, I gotta kick it, 'cause he's talking about how the thing there plays with wage.
Right, right.
Which.
Right. What was Chris Samaras here for?
Members of the commission, the next item on the agenda is to do with a hearing for allegations of misconduct as charged by the superintendent of police, Kenneth LaValle, against a licensee known as J&I Restaurant Incorporated, doing business as Fortunato's. Yusuf Ayub is the manager of record, the all-alcoholic beverage restaurant licensee at 44 Palmer Street. Yesterday, the office had received early yesterday morning, as I came in, there was an attorney by the name of George R. Jabor sent an email requesting that the matter of this hearing be continued, writing on behalf of the licensee. He had been retained as legal counsel by Mr. Ayub. Mr. Jabor had requested that the commission continue the matter for 30 days for the fact that he had only been made apprised of the complaint by his client, new client, I believe it was possibly Tuesday of this week, when the actual notice of hearing was received by Mr. Ayub. In contact with the commissioners Occasion and Weicker by telephone, asking their input as to whether they would consider such a continuance. They indicated as such that they would. Today, they would confirm that action, or that consideration. It was conveyed to the board secretary yesterday. I had been in communication with Attorney Jabor, indicating to him what the commission would consider doing. He seemed to be satisfied with that. So at the present time, there is no legal counsel present on behalf of Fortunato's. I don't believe there's any representation for Fortunato's here at this time. So I would leave it to the commission to pick up.
Well, I know everyone wants to have this, because it was such according to the police reports, it was a very scary incident that took place. That being said, I believe the incident took place on February 10th of this year, and we did not receive the complaint from the Lowell Police Department until late last week. And in order to facilitate the rollback of hours, Massachusetts statute requires 14 days notice. That being said, I had a meeting with the superintendent of police and the city solicitor last week, and we agreed to mark it for a hearing today. That was last Thursday. The notice of complaint or notice of hearing went out on Friday, and the attorney didn't receive it, or the license holder didn't receive it until after the weekend. I know the allegations are heinous against the license holder. The problem is that there's due process, and in order, he's entitled to make arguments against the allegations as brought by the Lowell Police Department, and giving him 48 hours to retain an attorney and to present his case, I believe is not in the spirit of the due process laws of the Commonwealth. Additionally, it takes away the ability for us to roll back the hours if we deemed it appropriate. So when Mr. Nguyen contacted me yesterday, that was my inclination. However, The concern of Fortunato's was that it was turning into a nightclub, and the incident was fueled by a dance party, rave type of occurrence at the establishment. And it would be my recommendation that we continue the hearing until a special meeting on March 29th at 6:30 PM. I think there'll be a lot of witnesses for this hearing, and I don't think it is appropriate to have it on the same day as other hearings. I just think it would be too crowded in here and too congested. I think dedicating a night to the Fortunato's incident would be the most appropriate. But the entertainment license that they possess, I think should be suspended until that hearing. That seemed to be the root of the problem, the type of entertainment that was going on in the establishment, coupled with the excessive drinking as alleged. So if we remove that entertainment license or suspend that entertainment license until the 29th, where we can address all the matters, number one, Fortunato's isn't open right now. If it does open up, it won't have an entertainment license. It'll just have their common Vittler license and their alcohol license. So they can operate as a restaurant, but taking away their entertainment license will prevent them from operating as a nightclub, or if they had any inclination to do any other type of entertainment. I think that will alleviate the problem in the short term until we can give them proper notice and allow them to have a hearing on the allegations. And my recommendation would be March 29th at 6:30 PM here.
I'm going to say that I second that because, again, I thought that putting it on for today was kind of silly since it tied our hands and took away the ability to take certain actions. I can tell you that getting the request for a continuance actually probably worked to the benefit of the License Commission because it puts more options on the table for what we have at our disposal. I agree with Commissioner Occasion. I think that if we suspend the entertainment license pending the hearing, we shouldn't have any problems, should they even be able to reopen, although I guess my understanding from the latest information, I don't know if the building inspection department is ever going to allow the building to reopen at this point. So I understand it needs some substantial work, which is going to require substantial permits. The building may actually not be fit for a use as a restaurant or anything again in the future, depending on the hallway width issue. So with all those issues still out there, for all we know, the building may not even ever be opened again. So let's suspend the license for the entertainment in the meantime. We'll schedule the hearing for the 29th. I anticipate that we should have somewhere in the neighborhood of, about 30 witnesses or so. And so it's
Certainly
going to
the Lowell
be...
Police will have a contingent of...
Right, so I'm assuming that there's at least 20 in that group?
We have, I believe, Commissioner, there'll be 6 Lowell police officers that will give testimony as to the conditions that they observed on the date of the incident.
Okay. I was just going off of how many names I came across and just assuming that if they were all on the list, it was going to be a very lengthy meeting. So, and, from looking into, it should be interesting. I understand Attorney Jabour used to be a special prosecutor for a lot of different matters, so it should be an interesting case. So.
And just for the record, the building commissioner was here today, earlier, and he will be present on the 29th if we request it. So I guess that would be the most appropriate thing to ask Mr. Marsilia to be here that night. The Lowell Police Department will be here. Is there anyone else we should request the presence of, or?
I would think possibly somebody from the fire department should also be present, and health. I think, well, developmental services, the department head, Kendra Amaral, I can communicate with her that if it be the board's wish, that representatives for the various sections of that department, such as health, building, and for those two, and that I would, if you wish, I can communicate with Chief Pitta Fire Chief Pitter of the Lowell Fire Department, asking if there would be a commanding officer, lieutenant, or captain who could...
I mean, my inclination is that if one of the allegations is a violation of the fire code, we're going to need somebody from the fire department.
There are, they have, I have here amongst the papers, copies of communications that, from the fire department, violations of the fire code regarding the premises and use of it. So, so it would be only keeping to have them, someone representing the fire department.
And I'm sure they will be here, but someone from the law department should be
I
here.
believe city solicitor has assured me that they would have one of the assistant solicitors.
It was nice when they used to come to all the meetings, and then all of a sudden, they just stopped. So hopefully they can come, the next couple meetings, the 22nd and the 29th, and I'm not trying to be amusing, but the 22nd and the 29th, we have some serious hearings coming up, and I think that the city solicitor's office should send a designee to the meeting.
Yeah,
Sure, I'll make that known.
there is a lot on for those 2 days especially.
So, just to wrap up, I'll make a motion that we suspend the entertainment license, continue the hearing until Thursday, March 29th at 6:30 PM here at the City Council Chambers.
Okay.
And request that Robert Marsilia be in attendance, or his designee, that Secretary Wynn will get in touch with Kenda Amaral, and that someone from the law department and someone from the fire department be requested to be here.
And I'll second that. We're suspending it pending, while the hearing is pending, right?
While the hearing...
So we'll make a ruling on everything on the 29th.
Exactly.
Okay. So I'll second that. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Does anybody wish to speak? And I don't know if they want to. There's some people here that...
Yeah, if any of the residents would like to speak on this issue, feel free to. Sure. Yeah.
My name is Elaine Wood. I live on Market Street in Lowell. I'm just trying to clarify what's going on. I think I understand it, but the suspension of the entertainment license is kind of moot in the way that they're not operating as a business right now.
Correct.
I have a question about there is a permit on the building, and I have a question. Is construction currently going on so that it can be reopened with the codes
It's
in place?
my understanding that the landlord is trying to make the corrections to the property so that it may be reopened. But it's also my understanding that it may be reopened. Let me go back. They're making the corrections to be up to code, but it's my understanding that it may not be the present tenant that they are making the upgrades for. They want, I mean, you guys know, you all live downtown, that's a pretty main location. They want there to be able to be another establishment if this establishment happens to go by the wayside, to be able to move in there. So that's why they're making those upgrades to the building to get within the code for the city of Lowell.
The improvements to the building have to take place irrespective of the occupant.
Right.
The
I understand.
building department has shut the building down. It is, right, so yes, there's going to be building permits issued. They have issued a report which requires building permits to be issued and the work to be done before the building can be reopened. In the event that that is to happen and they are to be successful and reopened prior to the 29th, they will be doing so without any entertainment authorization. So they'll be able to reopen as a restaurant, but they will not be able to reopen for any entertainment purposes.
My concern is having any type of club there at that corner. We have too many clubs in the area, and I don't think we have the resources in our police force to take on, and this is going to go beyond this day, obviously, but just that's just my concern, that if, any place there that opens as a club is going to be an issue for us downtown.
I think that
I
your
just wanna
concern,
put that-
I think your concern is a valid one. I think you're right that the police department doesn't have the resources right now to deal with with a nightclub. A restaurant, I think they do, but, so, you know, I think by taking away their entertainment license, we're eliminating the nightclub for right now. And on the 29th, we'll have a hearing, and we'll go from there as to what's gonna happen.
Right, we can't make any decisions about what we're going to do in advance of a hearing, or else our hearing and our decision is invalid and will be thrown out by a court. So we're going to be.
It's just a comment.
I'm saying in the interim, what we're doing is just assuring that nothing comes up in the meantime. Yes, our police force is currently understaffed. We're hoping to get that rectified, so.
Thank you.
With respect to communication.
Good afternoon. My name is Nancy Peacock, and I live at 172 Middle Street on the Middle Street side of the building. I just had another point of clarification. Is the owner, Mr. Ayub, going to receive any punishment or sanctions for the behavior that has taken place in that establishment?
I guess, ma'am, let me stop you, because what I said earlier is that we can't have any portion of the hearing without giving notice. We can't make a decision as to what's going to be done until we have the hearing, or else it is illegal, and we would be committing an illegal act, which would get any decision subsequently
But
thrown out
generally
in court.
speaking,
I just needed an understanding on that.
but generally speaking,
We hold a hearing.
we don't have the ability to fine anyone monetarily. The only power as sitting here as a license commission is to suspend, revoke, or roll back the hours of a license. We have no authority to say, you gotta pay $500, you have to pay $1,000. So we're limited in what we can do, but that goes to all the licenses throughout the city. So after a hearing, you know, I think if a license was suspended for 30 days or 60, that would hurt them. That would be a punishment to a license holder, generally speaking.
Okay, that helps me understand. So as it stands now, there's really not much of a chance that this individual would be able to get back?
Right now, they can't get their entertainment license, and we don't have any control over what happens with the building. That's the building department.
Okay.
I don't know how close they are or how close they are not to being open or being up to code. I'm not aware of where they are in that process. I just know that, like you said, there's a permit there, and they are trying to get the building up to code.
Okay.
Yeah, all I can say is, I'm not making any decisions until we have a hearing. I'm not making any promises regarding any outcomes, because I want to have a hearing and do everything by the book so that we're a legitimate, organization. So so at that point, we'll conduct a hearing and we'll.
Okay, thank you. I'm educating myself
No,
in the
and,
process.
as for what the building department does, that's completely within their realm.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes.
All right.
I'll be quick. My name is Jadane Lamb. I live at 30 Market Street. And this actually is an education question. You mentioned entertainment license. Are you folks the people who grant entertainment licenses, and are they like liquor licenses of a limited number available?
We are the granting authority. There is no limit available. Technically, anybody who has a television or a radio in an establishment needs an entertainment license. So the minute the bartender turns the radio on, he needs to have a entertainment license. If the minute the television goes on to show a game, you can't sit at the 99 and watch a game if they don't have an entertainment license.
Okay. So it covers everything from a TV
Everything
or
from a
radio
children's
to
party
Sandy
outdoors.
Beach at the 2 o'clock.
Right.
Right,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Hey, just as a follow-up, the final matter to do with communications, with the superintendent of police had filed several police complaints, allegations of misconduct having been discussed with respect to Fortunato's. There was the matter to do with, as Commissioner Occasion had spoken of earlier, where we were anticipating a hearing today, and that the limits to the licensing board's action, if it was to take disciplinary action after a hearing on Fortunato's, was to limit it to no more than either, if it was discipline taken, suspension or revocation of liquor license, entertainment license, license for common victular. Also, if for a separate hearing, the board would take up the need to decrease the hours of operation, which the licensing board may do, provided the licensee of record is given proper notice, which is a minimum of 14 days, according to state law, which is Chapter 138 of General Laws, Section 12. The licensing board, if it finds there is a need, may decrease operating hours if a business licensee is operating as late as, or may sell alcohol beverages as late as 2 a.m. The licensing board may reduce those hours to no earlier than 11 p.m. So the License Commission will take up that matter at their meeting scheduled for March 29th, which is a special meeting. There is also a complaint from the superintendent regarding Middle Street Village Inc., the Village Smokehouse, the all-alcoholic beverage restaurant licensee at 9298 Middle Street, sales of alcohol beverages to 2 intoxicated patrons the morning of February 4th, 2012. And a third complaint with respect to a licensee known as Resendez Incorporated, doing business as Red Line Pub and Grill, the all-alcoholic beverage restaurant licensee at 1018 Gorham Street, disturbance on the licensed premises the morning of February 11th, 2012. Request that the board consider confirmation of the hearings for those 2 licensees, the Village Smokehouse and the Red Line Pub, for the meeting scheduled for March 22nd at 6:30 p.m.
Make a motion that we confirm the scheduling of the hearings for March 22nd at 6:30 p.m.
I'll second that. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes, all right.
Okay.
Now, with respect to the Red Line Pub and Grill was,
I'm sorry.
okay, well, you're going to get to that, sorry. Go ahead. I didn't realize it was at the bottom of there.
With respect to Robert Marsilia, who's the building commissioner, he had filed a communication with the office. I received it sometimes on February 23rd, outlining violations of the building code pertaining to Fortunato's, Club 44. A copy of that report, I believe I have for you, gentlemen. If I even want me to give it to you, I will in a moment. So that would be taken up at the meeting or hearing scheduled for March the 29th, the circumstances of that, if it's necessary at that point in time.
Okay.
Last is a communication. The insurer, agent for insurance companies known as Hub International New England LLC, Wilmington, Massachusetts office, had sent a copy of the certificate of liability policy pertaining to Resendez Incorporated, in which the insurance coverage for the restaurant cafe for the general liability and liquor liability had been canceled, and that date of cancellation is February 7, 2012. I've notified the both licensees, Village Smokehouse and Medline Pub, of a hearing in anticipation of the board's confirmation of that date for March 22nd. But I would also like to forward a communication to the Red Line Pub manager of record, informing him that his insurance policy has been canceled.
I think we're actually in an even stronger situation, because my understanding of the law is that you cannot have a liquor license if you don't have that alcohol insurance in place in the minimum amounts, correct?
I made copy of the Section 12 of 138, and all it states, and I checked with the Alcohol Beverages Control Commission guidelines pertaining to this particular amendment to this Section 12 of 138. And it doesn't say any much more than what I read here in the last paragraph, and I don't want to even recite it until you've had a chance to review it. So certainly the licensing board, I would think, would have an opportunity to take disciplinary measures. I'm not sure of it.
Well, this is what I think I see reading that statute, where you have the reservation as to, see, and this is, and I'm not trying to be amusing again, is this is where the law department should be here to answer these questions. But what I would like to do is, if we could make a motion that the law department research the law and make a determination as to whether a establishment whose liability insurance has been canceled should be in possession of a license. And if they make that determination that it's in the affirmative, that they need the certificate of liability, that the license be immediately picked up by the Lowell Police Department and turned over to the License Commission office until such time as they can demonstrate that they have sufficient coverage.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I wouldn't have even waited for the law department on it. My read on it, basically, it would frustrate, I think, the purpose of the law to require an applicant or a license holder to have insurance in order to renew and then be able to cancel it the day after they get their license, and wait another year to renew it, to get insurance in place again. But I'll second your motion that we send it to the law department, that they confirm that. I think that is my take on it, is that, you know, they don't just have to have it to renew or issue a license, that they have to maintain it in place the entire time. And
if
subject to their confirmation, I would second the motion that we have the police department go pick up the license until such time as Resendez Inc. Show cause why it should be returned by showing proof of the minimum insurance coverage required by the statute. I honestly think it would really frustrate the purpose of the statute to allow you to terminate your insurance the month after you get your renewal.
I agree with you in that respect. So the law department should have a quick turnaround time on their opinion. It would be,
if they're listening now, maybe we can get
yeah.
somebody to run it down.
I know.
Anyone? All right. But yes. Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that's it, I guess.
And just on behalf of the License Commission, I would like to send out my warm wishes to Chairman Bayless, that I know he is probably at home watching, and I hope he's recovering well.
I would say I hope he's not at home watching. I hope he's out and about and moving and, you know, is mobile enough that he doesn't have to sit on the couch and watch this on a Thursday afternoon where the weather is this lovely. I hope he's feeling well enough to get outside and spend some time with his grandson. So I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes, okay.